Hello everyone, welcome back to the session of English. In this session of English grammar, we are going to continue with practice questions. So in this session, we are going to discuss practice questions of active and passive voice. This chapter is really very interesting and very important topic for various competitive exams. So let's begin this session. We'll discuss many concepts which are related to active and passive voice and many questions that can occur in any exam which is related to active and passive voice. So in this session, we will learn 25 practice questions and various concepts related to active and passive voice. More than that, we'll discuss detailed analysis of each question. As we have various questions, we'll discuss each and every question in detail. Therefore, we'll learn many concepts related to active and passive voice in this session. So let's begin this session. First of all, we'll see the tables, various tables for active and passive voice. It means when we convert an active sentence into passive voice, what are the rules which are required and what are the things that we should keep in mind while we are converting an active voice into passive voice that we are going to discuss right now. So this is voice table 1. In this first you can see the column of active form. And when we convert an active form into passive form, what are the changes that we made? You can see in these two columns over here. First of all, we have verb 1. This is base form. Okay, it means the base form of verb, that is verb first form. For example, if I say tell is the verb first form. Okay, now when we convert it into passive voice, just keep one thing in mind. Whenever we have an active sentence, we have a structure of subject plus helping verb plus main verb plus object. Or we can also another structure, that is subject plus helping verb or plus main verb, subject plus main verb plus object. This can also be the concept or the structure of the active sentence. Now, whenever we convert an active sentence into passive voice, in case of passive voice, what actually important is the object part. It means if an active sentence contains an object, then only it can be converted into passive voice. And passive sentences, they actually, what happens in a passive voice? Passive is actually focus. In case of passive voice, the focus is on the object. Okay, so the focus is on object. So the focus point is the object. Okay, when object is focused, or when object is known, or when object comes prior to the subject, or object is focused, it means object is more important in the sentence, then that sentence is known as passive voice. For example, if I say that there is a building, and if I say that this building was built in 1993, now who built it, I don't know. Okay, I just only know that this building was built in 1993. Now, if I say this building was built in 1993, it means here I just know one thing, that the building was built and that building was built in 1993. It means this building was built in 1993. So this building is the object of the sentence. Okay, because if I say that suppose XYZ built this building in 1993, suppose this is the sentence. So this is active sentence. Why so? Because here XYZ is the subject, built is the verb, and what is the object? This building that XYZ built. What did he build? He built this building. So this is the object. But if I say that this building was built in 1993. Now we only know about this building that it was built in 1993. You can say that this 1993, it is actually adverb, or you can say the the time of action, whereas built is verb. Okay. And what was built? This building. So this is the object, okay, not the subject, because subject is actually what the who does the action. Here the action is done, built, and who does it, we don't know. Okay, if I'm saying that this building was built in 1993, who built it, I don't know, or it is not written over here. In fact, what was built? The building, and building is on the subject part, or is on the position of the subject, or you can say that it has come before the subject, or here the subject is not known but the object is known, or the focus is on the object. It means what is important, that this building was built. Therefore, this building is actually the object of the sentence, and where object is focused, that sentence, that type of structure of the sentence is known as passive voice. Now if I say this building was built in 1993 by XYZ, now here if I knew this, that XYZ, also you can see that whether we have mentioned this XYZ or not, it is not at all relevant. Why so? Because here the most important part is the building that was built in 1993, and the work finishes, and the topics finish, and the topic is finished. Why so? Because it does not matter who built it, only the thing that matters is that the building was built. Or you can say the object is coming prior to the subject, and when object comes prior to the subject, this structure of sentence is known as passive voice. Okay, so to make any sentence passive, what do we need necessarily? We need only three things to make the sentence into passive voice, or to convert the sentence into passive voice. First of all, object is very very important. Moreover, any form of be. Okay, any form of be means there are various forms of be, like is, are, am. Okay, these are the present forms of be, whereas past forms are was and were. Okay, or there can be other forms of be, like been or being. So this is actually the fourth or the third form of be. Okay, and is, are, am and was, were, these are the past forms of be. And after that, what do we need is the verb third form. It means this is the main verb third form. Okay, this will be the main verb third form. Okay, this is the third form of the main verb. Okay, main verb third form. So this thing is very these three things are the actual requirements to convert an active sentence into passive voice. Just keep this in mind, that this thing is very very important to convert an active sentence into passive voice. And what are these things? First of all, object on the subject place. After that, any form of be, and then third form of the main verb. These three things are very very important to convert an active sentence into passive voice. If these three things we have, it means the structure is in passive voice. You can also conclude that if there is any form of be, okay, and after that be, you get a verb third form. However, we can also have ing after be form, but if you get be plus verb third form, it means if this any form of be, if it is followed by any third form of verb, that structure is known as passive voice always. Okay, so you should keep in mind that what can be the be forms in that particular tense. For example, if the tense is of present tense, you can either have is, are, am. For continuous, you can have ing. For for the past forms of be, we can have was and were. Okay, so these forms we can have to convert the sentence into passive voice. Okay, so this structure is very very important. Okay, now if you see that when we convert a verb first form, it should be converted into verb third form. And also we know well that verb first form is always you can see this verb first form in case of present indefinite tense. Of course, if we have present indefinite tense, that is subject plus verb 1 or verb 5, and we have to convert that into passive voice, so the verb will be converted into third form. Whenever we have any passive voice, just keep one thing in mind, the verb will be in third form. Now in case of is, rm plus verb with ing, now where do you find this type of structure? Obviously in present continuous tense. Okay, in present continuous tense. And one thing you should keep in mind, whenever we talk about continuous sentence, whenever we convert any continuous sentence into passive voice, we necessarily require the word being. Okay, so in case of when we convert present continuous tense into passive form, what do we need is actually being form. Okay, for example, if there is a sentence, she is reading a novel. Okay, this is present continuous tense. Okay, and if you want to convert this into passive voice, what do we need? First of all, object on the subject place. So this is the object. Let us write this on the subject place. So this is a novel. Okay, a novel. Now what do we have? Is rm, it means present form of be. And of course after she, here we have is. Also for the novel we require is. Okay, so a novel is. Also when it is reading, so reading is continuous form of verb. Okay, so for continuous form we need being, because continuous always requires ing form. Okay, but passive voice requires verb third form. Now it cannot happen like if I write is read. So the continuous, obviously it will not be the continuous structure of the sentence. However, we have to maintain the tense form as well as the passive form together. We should maintain the tense form. For example, if there is continuous tense, obviously it requires ing form, so that should be mentioned over there. That should be you can say maintained. So a novel is being read. A novel is being read by her. This will be the correct sentence. A novel is being read by her. So here you can see that is read. Read is the verb third form and is the helping verb. Okay, or the auxiliary verb. So if you see the sentence that is of present continuous tense, we have is rm plus being plus verb third form, that is past participle. Always in passive voice, remember one thing, that it requires verb third form always. Okay, now is rm will be according to the subject verb agreement rule. Now if it has have plus verb third form, obviously in the active structure and in the perfect tense of active structure, we do have any form of have, and after that we have verb third form. And when we convert it into passive voice, now in case of passive voice, obviously we require be form as well as verb third form. So to maintain that particular formation of passive voice, we need been over here. After has and have, we obviously have verb third form in case of perfect tense. But to maintain the profile of passive voice, we need this structure that contains the form of be as well. So here has have plus been plus verb third form should be the correct structure. If verb second form, that is simple past tense, and you know well that in simple past tense or in past indefinite, we do have subject plus verb second form. So when we convert that into passive voice, what do we need over there? Obviously in the case of passive voice, we need object on the subject place, then we need be form, and then we need verb third form. However, if you see the past indefinite form, it contains verb second form. So to maintain the decorum of both the sentences, what we do here, we get past form of be. And what are the past forms of be? Was and were. So after was and were, we have verb third form, that is past participle. After that, was and verb plus verb with ing. Now this is past continuous tense, and as I told you that if the sentence is of continuous tense, to maintain the requirement of continuous, we add bing, being, in passive voice. Okay, so was verb plus being plus verb third form, this will be the structure of the passive form. Then had plus verb third form, obviously as we did in present perfect tense, the same thing to be happened in passive form of past perfect, but here that has have should be replaced with the word had, otherwise the structure will remain same, that is had plus been plus verb third form. So these structures we should follow, and all these structures have a common thing in them, that is you should have three things. The passive sentence should contain three things, and what are the three things? Any be form, then verb third form, these two things, and object on the subject place. These three things should be there in case we want to convert an active sentence into passive voice. Okay, well, this is second table in which we have will, shall, modal plus verb one verb form. Will, shall, modal plus be plus. Now, whenever we have modal structure, you can have will, shall, and after this will, shall, we have will, shall or modal. Any modal. Okay, will, shall are also modals. So will, shall, modal, any modal we can have, like can, could, should, any modal. After that be form, and that verb third form. So when we convert a sentence which contains any modal into passive voice, we require any modal that is there, after that be, and then verb third form. So this should be the structure to convert the sentence from active to passive voice. Now, whenever we have the structure like modal plus have plus verb third form, that is past perfect. So again, after have we need verb third form, and the third form of be is been. 2 plus verb for first form, it means this is infinitive form. So here we have to be, then verb third past participle. Okay, so here we'll have the structure of to be in case of infinitive. To have plus verb third form, to have been plus verb third form. Verb plus ing, being plus verb third form, having plus verb third, having been plus verb third form. So these are the structures that we should follow. Now, whenever we require these tables, we'll get back to these tables while doing the question and answers. Okay, so let's begin this session. Let us start doing the questions. I hope this much is clear to you all. Okay, now this is question number 1. Find out the sentence in passive voice. It means here we have 4 sentences and we have to look for that particular sentence that is actually in the passive voice structure. Okay, and we know well in case of passive voice structure we need 3 things. One is object on the subject place, then be form, and then verb third form. So wherever you get these 3 things all together, it means that structure is in passive voice. And this is very very simple. First of all, we'll see this in detail, and after that we'll see it with the trick, with the help of a trick. Now if you see the first sentence, the judge scolded the culprit for his offense. Now the judge scolded, here we have subject then verb. Okay, this is verb second form, whereas in passive voice we need verb third form. The culprit was punished for his offense by the judge. Now if you see this structure, it is the culprit. If you see this, the judge scolded the culprit. So here the judge is the subject, is scolded it the verb, and culprit is the object. Whereas if you see this sentence, the culprit was punished for his offense by the judge. And now who did this? Punished. Who punished him? The judge. So the judge is the subject, whereas the culprit is the object because he was punished. Was is the be form and punished is the verb third form. Now if you see the second sentence, it contains each and every requirement of passive voice. First of all, object on the subject place, then we have was, that is the past form of be, and then we have verb third form of the main verb. Now for his offense by the judge, and this judge or the subject, it is behaving like an agent in the sentence, which we have shown with the preposition by. Therefore the second sentence is the correct answer. However, let us look another sentences as well. The judge convicted the culprit for his offense. Obviously it is the active structure where the judge is the subject, convicted is the verb, and the culprit is the object. The culprit apologized to the judge for his offense. Now here this is the subject, apologized is the verb second form, and to the judge, okay, for his offense. So this is like the object, okay, or the indirect object. So the in this structure we cannot find object on the subject place. In this we cannot find object on the subject place, but second is the subject. Second is the sentence where we have the passive structure of the sentence. Therefore our answer will be 2. So our answer will be 2, subject plus was verb plus verb third form plus by plus object. Okay, and the culprit was punished for his offense by the judge. This is actually the past indefinite tense, the conversion of past indefinite tense into passive voice. Here the correct active sentence can be, the judge scolded the culprit for his offense. This is the active structure, and this is the passive structure of the same. Okay, so here second will be the correct answer. Now let us move to the third one. Okay, this is the second question, sorry. So this is not the third one, but this is the second question which we are going to do right now. Now what is the requirement of this question? What is the direction for this question? Mark the correct passive form of the following sentence. So again we have to look for that particular sentence that correctly frames the structure of passive voice. I play cricket with my friends. So this is the sentence, and we have to convert this sentence into passive voice. First of all, let us see that I is the subject over here, play is the verb, and what did they play? They play cricket. Okay, sorry, what do they play? They play cricket. Okay, so this is verb first form, and we know that we have subject plus verb 1 plus object, so we need to convert this into passive voice. So what can happen? First of all, let us see the object cricket. Okay, and the sentence is in present tense. So in present tense we use what type of forms of be? Is, rm. So here cricket is singular, so we'll write is played by them. Okay, cricket is played by them, or along with my friends, or along with her friends. Okay, sorry, by them sorry, not by them, but by me, with my friends. Okay, with my friends. So this will be the correct answer. Okay, very very simple. Now if you see the sentence here, keep one thing in mind always, that in case of passive voice we do not change the tense of the sentence. Okay, tense will remain same. Now if the sentence is in present tense, it should be in present only. Now if you see this was over here, that this cannot be the answer, because we have to convert that into in present tense only. We can't convert it into past tense. Cricket is played by me with my friends. Okay, I play with my friends cricket. No, this is actually the active structure. Cricket plays. No, cricket does not play anything, obviously. So here the first one is the correct answer. So first is the correct answer. So here answer will be first, that is subject plus is mr plus verb third form plus by plus object. Okay, so first one will be the correct answer, where we have object on the subject place, then is, that is the form of be, and then the verb third form. Okay, so this should be the structure. Now let us move to the next one. Now this is question number 3. The sentence given here is an active voice. You have to choose from alternatives, it means options given below, the correct passive voice. Now the sentence is I spoke to him. Whenever you find these type of sentences where there is a verb and after that we need a preposition necessarily. For example, after spoke we necessarily require this preposition to. Okay, so whenever we convert these type of sentences into passive voice, we should keep one thing in mind, that let this spoke to or this verb plus preposition, this structure in a box. It means this will not be separated. Okay, and here we know well that spoke is the second form of speak. Okay, and in case of passive voice we need what? The third form is of spoke, that is spoken. Okay, so in the passive voice we should find this part as well as this part. So spoken to should be seen in the passive voice sentence. First of all, him is the object, so we should be seen he. And obviously if this is the sentence of past tense, obviously he was. So here we have object on the subject place, then past form of be, and then spoken to is verb third form or the phrase by me. Okay, now let us see where it is this written. He was spoken to by me, and this is the same structure that we have made. He was spoken to by me. He was spoken by me? No, spoken to by me, because if I say he was spoken by me, it means I spoke him. Okay, so that is incorrect. I was spoken by him? No. He had been spoken by me. No, had been is not the structure of here, because had been is not actually given over here. So we just need these three things, that is he was spoken to by me, and this is here in the first part of the sentence. So you can also apply trick over here. When we said that spoken should come over here and spoken to should come. Okay, now look at all these sentences. We require spoken to, and it is only given in the first part of the sentence of first option. Therefore this first is the correct answer. Okay, so our correct answer will be voice with phrasal verb. So solution will be 1. Okay, as I told you, that is spoken to should be covered. Okay, phrasal verb should remain phrasal verb or the prepositional phrase. Okay, now let us move to the next one. This is question number 4. The sentence given here is an active voice. You have to choose from alternatives the correct passive voice. Do not pluck flowers. Okay, so this is imperative sentence where one is giving orders or requesting another one. Okay, so this is imperative sentence, and whenever we convert an imperative sentence, we should keep one thing in mind, that we can make this structure into passive voice using two methods. We can either use let method or we can use you are. Now ordered, requested as per the requirement of the sentence. Now do not pluck flowers, it is somewhere like order, so we can say let not Let not the flowers, now the objects are flowers. Okay, let not the flowers be plucked. Okay, flowers be plucked. Or what we can do, you are requested or you are ordered not to pluck flowers. Okay, you are ordered not to pluck flowers. Okay, so these two can be the structures. Now let us see that what is the structure given over here. Let not pluck flowers, no, because here we can see pluck, which is a verb first form, but we need verb third form in case of passive voice. Let flowers not be plucked. Let flowers not be plucked. Okay, it is not to be plucked, but here we are not using to be. They are not to be plucked. Okay, let flowers not be plucked. So third will be the correct answer. Okay. Let flowers be not plucked, no, not be plucked. First of all, not comes before be, so here third is the correct answer. Okay, so third is the solution. In an imperative sentence, voice use let. Do or don't plus verb 1 plus object, this is active, and passive. Let plus subject plus not plus be plus verb third form. So this should be the structure of the passive voice. So here according to this, third will be the correct answer, because we do not need not to be, it has to be done. So therefore therefore let flowers not be plucked is the correct structure of passive voice for this question. Okay, now let us move to the next one. The correct passive voice of the following sentences. Now we have to state the correct passive voice of this sentence, and the sentence is am to do this work. Now whenever we say am to do this work, it means this is our requirement to do the work, or we are going to do this work. Okay, if I say I have to do this work, that means that this is my this is compulsion that I need to do this work. Okay, now whenever we have this structure that I have to do this work, or if I say I am to do this work, I am to do this work. Okay, it means you are about to do this work. Now if we want to convert this sentence into passive voice, what happens here? The structure will be like this work, this work. Now sentence is in present tense, so we should write this work has. Now here have to is written, but according to subject verb agreement, it will convert it into has to. This work has to be done. Okay, because we need verb third form. So to be done structure this by me. Okay, this work has to be done by me, or I'm to do this work, this work. Now am is the present tense, so present tense of be is rm, so this work is to be done by me. Okay, to do will be converted into to be done, so this work is to be done by me. Okay, so this will be the correct structure of the sentence. Now if you go back to the slides, it is written I'm to do this work, so I'm to do this, so this is to be done. For am I need is to. Was to is the past tense, it should not come. I am to, this I am to do, no. Me is to, we cannot write me in the subject position. This is to be done by me, so second will be the correct answer. Okay, here the correct answer will be subject plus is to be plus verb third form, so the correct answer will be second, that is this is to be done by me. Now let us move to the next one. Now question number 6 is the correct passive voice of the following sentences, and the question is, will anyone believe your story? Now to convert this into passive voice, we need modal as it is, and after modal we should have be and then verb third form. Okay, and here verb is believed, so we need believed. So will your story be believed by anyone? Will you be believed for a story by anyone? Will your story to be believed? No, we do not want to be structure. Will your story having been is not required over here. Will you be believed? They are not to believe you, but they are going to believe your story. So here the first will be the correct answer. So here answer will be 1, that is will plus subject plus be plus verb third form plus by plus object. Now let us move to the next one. This is question number 7. The correct passive voice of the following sentence will be, would you have tolerated such humiliation? So this is a question structure. Now, will you have tolerated? It means this is a perfect tense sentence. Okay. So would such humiliation have been tolerated by you? Would such humiliation, now here would is the modal. Okay, you have to be tolerated, you have tolerated such humiliation. Humiliation is the object which should come at the subject place. So would such humiliation having been, no, having been is not the requirement. Would you have been tolerated such a humiliation, or how would you have, now how is not required over here. So would such humiliation have been tolerated by you? Okay. And if you see the third one, would you have been tolerated such a humiliation, or would such humiliation have been tolerated? So obviously here we need passive voice structure, so we need object prior to the subject. Therefore first will be the correct answer, where you can see would such humiliation, humiliation is the object, would is the modal. Okay, have been is the structure or the requirement, tolerated verb third form by you. But if you see the third one, would you have been tolerated, now you have been tolerated is the simple structure, not the question interest structure, but we need question structure, uh, the where the object should come prior to the subject. So here first will be the correct answer. Now, eighth question, the correct passive voice of the following sentence will be, let him sing a song. Okay, so this is the active sentence, and to make it passive, what we do here, object is a song. Okay, so let will remain let a song. Now will need be form and then verb third form. Okay, so let a song to be. Now we do not want to be structure. Let a song be sung by him. Yes, be sung verb third form. This is the required answer. Let him a song to be sung. No, you are requested to let him. No, so second will be the correct answer. Okay, let plus subject plus be plus verb third form plus by plus object. Now the question number 9. Now this is fill in the blank structure of this type of question. All the applicants dash announced next week. So all the applicants um, are to be ranked. Okay, all the applicants are to rank. Now to rank is not the passive structure, are to be ranked announced next week. Okay, so here third will be the correct answer. It means all the applicants are going to be ranked. This is announced, this will be announced next week. Sorry, this has been announced that all the applicants will be are to be ranked next week. Now Ramappa dash the mayor of the town and he will assume charge this Friday. So here Ramappa elects the mayor. Ramappa is elected the mayor. Okay. Elected the mayor or is electing. Now whenever we talk about that, who is the mayor, who is going to be elected as the mayor, that is Ramappa. So he has been elected as the mayor. Now we cannot write as with the word elected. Okay, this is also the omission of article, that we cannot use elected with the word as. Okay, so here is elected will be the correct answer. So second will be the correct answer, that is elected. It is not third, it is second. Okay, so second is the correct answer. Now let us move to the next one. She had frequent toothaches. It means pain in tooth or teeth. So she decided to dash. Now remove her teeth. Obviously she will not remove her teeth herself. Removing her teeth, decided to. After to we can have verb third form, but we cannot have removing. Okay, have her teeth removed, having her teeth, we cannot have ing form. Yes, so third one will be the correct answer, that she decided to have her teeth removed. So third will be the correct answer. Why not first? Because she has not decided to remove her teeth. Obviously she cannot remove her teeth herself. She will get her tooth removed by someone else. So have her teeth removed. Now let us move to the next one. This is question number 12. If you had followed the rules, you dash disqualified. Now whenever we use if structure, this is type 3 condition. Okay, this is type 3 condition. And in case of type 3 condition, what we do, after if we write subject plus had plus verb third form. Okay, and after this we have another clause in which we use subject plus would plus have plus verb third form. Okay, so you would have. Okay, So will not be, if you had followed the rules, you would not be, you will not have been, you would not have been. So you would not have been disqualified. So our answer will be fourth because we need it in passive voice. So according to the options, fourth will be the correct answer. Now this is question number 13. The railway coaches dash by the Integral Coach Factory, Chennai. Now obviously we know well that Integral Coach Factory, uh, they obviously manufacture uh, railway coaches, and this is their profession. If it is their profession or their work, obviously we will make these type of sentences into present indefinite. So is manufactured, but we are talking about coaches, which is plural, and if it is plural, it need plural verb. So are manufactured, are manufacturers being, no, not this one, but we need the second one, that are manufactured. So here second will be the correct answer. Now let us move to the question number 14. The department had insisted that he dash absolute authority to regulate office work. The department had insisted that he, uh, now obviously that he received actually absolute authority to regulate office work. So he did not give. Would give, no. He's given, yes, of course, because we are talking about would be given. So here fourth will be the correct answer. Okay, because this is just an imaginary situation. Now let us move to the question number 15. The art of cooking dash in ancient India. So we need, because we are talking about ancient India means past. So we'll write was perfected. So fourth will be the correct answer. Is perfected is talking about present tense, but we are talking about ancient India. Will perfect basically is not the passive voice. Also will perfect makes the sentence future perfected, because we do not have any be form, we cannot write direct the verb third form. Okay, therefore the correct sentence will be was perfected. So fourth will be the correct answer. Now let us move to the next one. This package was supposed yesterday. So supposed obviously to be delivered yesterday. So second will be the correct answer. Now let us move to the next one. Based on the newspaper reports, we can conclude that many accidents caused by reckless driving. So many accidents, we need be form. Many accidents are caused by. So here the answer will be third, that is are caused by. Now let us move to question number 18. If motorists do not observe the traffic regulations, they will be stopped, ticketed, and have to pay a fine. So when we have written all the part in passive voice, we should write this also in passive voice and um, have to be fined, or were fined, we can also say. So it should be will be fined. Have to pay a fine means will be fined. Okay, so they will be fined. So third will be the correct answer. Now let us move to the next one. The vaccine when hit the Indian market is dodged by controversy. Now we are talking about past tense, so this is should be replaced by was. Okay, so here answer will be third. Now let us move to the next one. This is question number 20. The same procedure also should used. Now after should, there is modal, uh, we cannot have verb first form. So this should is incorrect over here first of all. So we know that second contains the error. Now which error? The same procedure also uh, should be used for the final assessment. So here answer will be second, where should also be used. Okay. Now, question number 21. The inaugural function is temporarily interrupted as the light suddenly went out. Okay, it means there was a power cut. Now, if you see this type of sentence, you have to look for the error in this sentence. The inaugural function is temporarily interrupted as the lights suddenly went out. Went out means the sentence isn't past. Now, if you see the second part of the sentence, it is containing the word is, whereas the sentence is of past tense. Okay, so here this is should be replaced with was, because the sentence is in past tense. So the correct sentence will be the inaugural function was temporarily interrupted as the light suddenly went out. Now let us move to question number 22. The first task is provided sufficient. Now is, and after is we have the word provided, which is the verb third form. The first task is provided sufficient arable land to the dispossessed farmers. Okay, so the first task is provided sufficient is to provide. Actually, they want to say that the first task is to provide sufficient. So here, this part, first part is incorrect. It should be the first task is to provide. Okay, is to provide sufficient arable land. So is to not B, is to provide will be the correct answer, or we can say the first task is to be provided. Now the correct sentence will be the first task is to provide. This is actually the active voice of the sentence. Now, this is question number 23. It is said that this room is not being opened for the last 50 years. Is not being opened, being means continuous. But we are here trying to say that this room was not opened for the last 50 years. It means it has not been opened. So, here the correct sentence will be that this room has not been opened. So, this should be made in perfect tense. Okay. So, the error is in part second, where this sentence should be replaced with that this room has not been opened. Now, question number 24. The social activist was murdered in cold-blooded. So, was murdered in cold-blooded. Okay, was murdered will be the correct answer, because after this we need verb third form. Okay, now let us move to the question number 25. Now, this is the last question of today's session. A weak-minded person is frightened away by the initial difficulties and gives up the attempt in despair. Now, if you see the first part of the sentence, a weak-minded person is frightened. Is frightened means he is afraid of something. A weak-minded person is frightened, and frightened is not the verb third form. Okay, this is verb first form. Okay, now is frightened. After B form, we can either have verb with ing or the verb third form, but we cannot have any other form. So it is confirmed from this part that this sentence is incorrect, or the first part of the sentence contains the error. A weak-minded person is frightened away by the initial difficulties and gives up the attempt in despair. Now, the major important thing is that whenever we have such sentences and we have to make them into passive voice, or we have to find out the error in this passive voice, we need to only identify the error which contains, we have to only identify that part which contains the error. We need not rectify that. So if we know well this much, that yes, this part is incorrect, that means we will get our answer. But how to rectify it, that is not actually the requirement of the question. Therefore, first is the correct answer, that is frightened. Okay, so frightened will come in place of frightened. So here first part contains the error, where this frightened should be replaced with frightened. So these were the questions that we have discussed based on active and passive voice. I hope this much is clear to you. Moreover, all the concepts that we have discussed till now, those are also the concepts that you have understood. Okay, so we have learned various concepts, and if you want to learn something more about active and passive voice, stay connected with me. Till then, thanks to you.